today. I'm excited because so many people have been calling us right during this time of challenge, during this time of, all of this craziness that's going on. And so Steve and myself, we're always asking, what can we bring? How can we bring more value? How can we help people? So I started going through my head going, who can I call? Like, who does America need to hear from right now at this moment in time? And most of our followers, as you know, are entrepreneurs, coaches, speakers. That's my world. And many of them are struggling, confused, not sure exactly what to do. And they need to hear from the voice of reason. And that's why I'm so happy.
I'll do my best.
Yes, please.
Introduce them a little bit because I don't think they saw it.
And so I know many of us didn't get a chance to see that video, and I may play it a little bit later on in the broadcast. But for those of you who don't know who this is Kevin Harrington. He's the original shark from the Shark Tank. This gentleman has launched over 500 products, built companies nationwide. As a matter of fact, if you've ever gone into Target or Best Buy and you've seen that little logo that says "As Seen on TV," this is the guy who helped launch that brand, and he's the inventor of the infomercial. So when I tell you it's a laundry list, $5 billion in global sales, he's done it all. And also, he's just a dear friend of myself and my husband, and we just enjoy our friendship and doing business things together as we travel the world speaking to entrepreneurs. So I wanted to open up today and let everybody know, guys, before you get off this live today, Kevin has a free gift for all of you that are tuning in, and you're going to get an opportunity to ask him some of your questions personally. So make sure in the chats that you're sharing this video, that you're commenting, as well that you're dropping your comments in. So Kevin, let's get started. And I want to let you guys know that, hold on one second. Let me just pull it up here with everything. Let's just kind of start with, first of all, you guys lean in so everybody can see you. I have my daughter here, my 15-year-old daughter.
Hi there. All right.
And I also have my wonderful husband.
What's up, Kevin?
Hey, Steve. How you doing, man? Good seeing you.
Absolutely.
Okay. Great to be here today. It's been a really tough time for a lot of people, and I'm I'm digging in, hunkering down. I live in St. Pete, Tampa, Florida, and we have kind of not a totally closed world here yet, but I understand we're probably going to get some kind of order like tonight that we're not allowed to leave the house anymore. And I've been pretty much at home for most of the time. I mean, my business, I've been, as you mentioned, Pasha, I'm a product guy. I've been in the product business for 38 years. I've had infomercials with Tony Little, the fitness guy, Jack LaLanne and the juicer, 50 Cent and his headphones. I did Kim Kardashian's first infomercial, Paris Hilton's first infomercial, and many, many more. In fact, George Foreman, we're doing a new project with George right now. I mean, we've done a lot of stuff with George over the years, but now we're selling a pain cream. It's the Knockout Pain Relief product.
I like that.
With George Foreman. Now, some of my businesses, I'm involved in about 25 different companies. And so if you've watched Shark Tank, I was the original shark, the very first shark that they picked. I did 175 segments on Shark Tank. Those keep rerunning over and over on CNBC and all around the world now. In fact, Shark Tank it airs in 100 countries around the world. So I just came back from Mexico City. There's Mexico Sharks. And so I was hanging out, taking pictures with sharks from Mexico. When I was in Brazil a few months ago, I was in Sao Paulo at the World Trade Center, 3,500 people. I was with the Brazilian sharks taking pictures. I go to Australia to meet the Australian sharks, Israel to meet Israeli sharks. There's sharks around the world because Shark Tank is now produced in the local markets all around the world. But the beauty of my aspect is I've been involved in day one of Shark Tank when it first started right here in the United States with Mark Burnett. So I've invested in companies there, and I've had a lot of different advisory positions. I'm on public boards of public companies, etc. But anyway, just wanted to kind of give a quick overview. I know it's a tough time for folks. we've got questions. Should I be answering the questions as they're coming through? Is that how you want to do this?
Yes, no, I'll ask you a few questions that are coming through and then some that we have as well. And you kind of answered, what was it like being one of the first sharks? Because I know Shark Tank is one of those. Now, let's start with very few shows have longevity. And Shark Tank is one of those shows that has just continued to reinvent itself, continued to grow, and continue to get ratings. So for you being one of the pioneers of that and being one of the first sharks on Shark Tank, what was that like, and where do you see this whole thing going?
So, good question. First of all, I've been shooting television infomercials for 38 years. So I'm not, it's not like when I got to Shark Tank, I wasn't familiar with the camera or the process of filming, but I shot low budget infomercials. And I say low budget, we'd go into a kitchen, we could shoot an infomercial in one day. Now, Shark Tank, I showed up at the set. It was at the Sony movie lot. And we were in a 50,000 square foot studio with 60-foot ceilings, 16 cameras, and $1 million set. Okay. And I'm like, wow, I've never spent $1 million on an entire infomercial, let alone $1 million on just building a set. So this was first class, grade A, distribution, going to be on ABC network. This is prime time network television, as good as it gets. We're not talking about Bravo or Lifetime or Discovery Channel. Nothing against any of those channels. This is ABC network. So it was pretty cool to be part of that. When we broke for lunch the first day after filming all morning, we went into a place where they were having lunch, and there was about 175 people there. And I'm like, oh, this must be, because the lot right next to us was Iron Man, and that's what's his name in Iron Man, Robert Downey Jr., right? So it's like, well, wait, I said, this must be 175 people from the entire lot of all the things going on. It's Iron Man, and they said, oh, no, this is just the Shark Tank lunch, because there was 175 crew members and people that were there for the shoot of our infomercial. We had our own trailer. It was Hollywood all the way. But I will tell you this, there was one downside in the earlier years of Shark Tank, and that is the quality of the deals and the pitches wasn't as good as I would have liked. Keep in mind, I was an entrepreneur that had been going to the houseware show, the hardware show, the fitness shows, the beauty shows. I do 25 trade shows a year. Now, this is pre-coronavirus days, obviously, because all of those have been canceled now. But I would go to these trade shows and I would take pitches. But I saw exciting enough products that I was investing in my normal business to the tune of, I've invested in over 700 deals over the last number of years. When I got to Shark Tank, it was like, wait a minute, where's the good stuff? Okay. So I was unpleasantly taken aback that season 1 and season 2, the beginning, they didn't have a lot of really good stuff. So I actually had to invest in things that I didn't necessarily think were going to be the biggest winners. But we just, one day we were filming, we'd done 7 segments. Nobody, not one shark had made one deal. Mark Burnett came down from up top and said, hey guys, sharks, if you don't invest, we're not going to have a good TV show and we're not going to get good ratings. So start putting the money up. And we're like, Mark, which one of those deals would you put your own money into? Come on now, let's see some good stuff. Well, the next segment, we had a big contest between us all and we ended up investing, but not necessarily because we wanted to, but we had to. So, I'm giving you some inside secrets here, but the reality is this. There's products that have been amazing successes. I've done tens of millions of dollars with the products that I invested in on Shark Tank. One of the projects that has been wildly successful, Scrub Daddy. Now, that
I love Scrub Daddy. I have Scrub Daddy right now.
Yeah. So now Lori Grenier did that product originally, and now this is where it's kind of cool because I have a really powerful Amazon business right now. So I ended up with the rights to Scrub Daddy for Amazon. So even though it was a Lori project. And so sometimes things morph and change around, but it being a shark was really cool because we got put into a publicity machine that has helped build our brands. And when I go around the country speaking at different events and actually around the world now, it is a global brand. It's the #1 business reality show in the history of television. They're in season 11 now. They're filming season 12 coming up soon. So really powerful.
I love it. So listen, I don't know if you remember this, but speaking of ideas, because you and I, we pitch each other ideas. You bring things to us. We bring things to you every now and then. And I don't know if you even remember this, but the last deal that you called me about, and I'm kicking myself today because, of course, we couldn't have known this. But do you even remember what it was? Because I'm going to tell you.
I remember.
Was it the toilet paper deal?
Yes.
Yeah. Hey.
Yes.
I told you, jump into toilet paper.
Sure
and,
did.
oh my gosh. And my daughter's looking at me like, really, Mom? And I was thinking, how do I market toilet paper? I mean, it sounds good, Kevin, but, and I'm just
now it's like gold, right?
Hey, I'll tell you what, I mean, think about, you never know why things come around. And I mean, it was from my side, I saw Dollar Shave Club take off. And here was a guy that had no money, Michael Dubin, Dollar Shave Club. He put a video out, it went viral, and he sold the company for $1 billion. So a young guy came to me and said, hey, I want to do the same thing they did with razors for toilet paper. And, you know, it was a great concept, and actually a little bit too early for its time maybe, but it's, you know, now, having said that, look at what's happened in the market. Any roll of toilet paper you can get your hands on right now, you can make money on. So
exactly.
It's like you said, it's gold.
Yes, it really is. I remember that phone call.
Hey, Kevin, let me ask you a question, buddy. First of all, we're excited that you're on, man. We appreciate you taking the time. And I've got a question for you, man. With what's going on, obviously, no one in the world. I mean, my mom is 81 years old, and she said she's never seen anything like this in her lifetime. So, of course, we've never seen this in our lifetime. But what do you say to individuals right now? Because I will say this, and this is not the way that we ever want businesses to spike, obviously, because we don't want to profit or capitalize on someone else's demise or someone else's devastation.
Yeah.
But we've seen, because Pasha and I have always built network marketing and online type of businesses, we've not seen a slowdown in our business at all. As a matter of fact, it's spiked. So what do you suggest to all the listeners out here today in terms of preparing for things like this? Not that we could have ever guessed that this would come our way, but what do you suggest to just the everyday average person that now understands how life can force you to pivot even if you don't see it coming? What's your suggestion?
So I'm a big believer in things happen for a reason, and I believe that this is a reset for a lot of people, and even in my own life, I'm using this. Sometimes you just sit down with my wife, and I said, look, there's going to be a little bit of a slowdown here. I mean, I speak for a living as part of my business, and you know, dozens and dozens of events have been canceled. And so now I'm in a financial position that I'm not worried about it financially, but it still is, what do I do every day? I mean, I've canceled, you know, I was doing 2-3 events a week, and now for 3 or 4 weeks, and for the next 2-3 months, maybe, I may not be doing any of this. But I say to people that first of all, exactly what we're doing right now, talking amongst ourselves, among experts and mentors, people should be checking their life and saying, who is my mentor? And Pasha, you said it best when you first started. You said, hey, I reached out to Kevin, my mentor, because I wanted to see what's happening. And so everybody should be reaching out to their mentors if you have one. If you don't, maybe now is the time to get one. Because 30 years ago, and I've got to pull something up here. I got to just disappear from the screen for 1 second. I forgot to bring it and let me get something real fast. It's right
No
next to me.
problem. Take your time. So listen, while he's going to get that item, guys, listen, this is what we wanted to do. I am so excited that you guys get to hear from the people that we listen to. And so he's going to, there you go.
So 30 years ago, I had a major crisis in my business. It was the year 1990. And what happened in 1990? The Gulf War. I had hundreds of employees. We were running television all across the United States, all across Europe. And overnight, my business went down 90%.
Wow.
And I had bank lines of credit. The banks came in, they called my lines of credit. I don't know if you remember 30 years ago when the Gulf War hit. Of course, you know, I'm an old entrepreneur, so I had a substantial business. I was doing $100 million a year in sales, and all of a sudden it went to almost zero. And so we were in a turmoil like I've never seen before. So what we've had to do is what we went through there are the things that I've now prepared for this that just happened. I sold off. I had buildings, I had overheads, I had 500 employees, I had a production studio, a warehouse full of inventories, and I had all this stuff. I said, you know what? I want to skinny this down because when the Gulf War hit, we had to sell a bunch of assets. We came out of it okay eventually, but I've been through a crisis, and I said, when the next one hits, I'm going to be ready. So consequently, I don't have tons of overheads and 500 employees. I've got less than a dozen total people running $100 million plus business because I want to contract out everything. I want to keep my overheads low. And so when I came out of that Gulf War, this was the book I wrote because people were saying, how do I get some other incomes? And I said, you don't have an income because you maybe just lost your job. This is 1990, my first book, The 100 Best Spare Time Businesses in America Today. So I've been saying to people for 30 years,
right,
don't rely on one income stream. You need to have extra income streams in your life. So this is I have 25 income streams in my life now because when I had one that went like this, I was done almost, right? Yeah. So the couple quick things that I say people should be doing. Number one, tune in to all of these kinds of information, podcasts, webinars, etc. I've been doing 2 or 3 of these a day, and I've been attending them myself, not just being involved in some, but I've been listening to some pretty powerful people myself because I want to make sure that I'm in tune with what everyone's doing. But one of the first things folks should do is look at your personal finances, right? So maybe you should get a line of credit if you can. Do you own a home? If so, talk to your banker. Maybe you can get a lower interest rate. I dropped an interest rate on one of my loans by 2 points just recently, okay? It was an old loan outstanding on something. I checked all my loans. I also went back to my accountants on the different entities that we have. And I said, hey, look, for 3 or 4 months, we're going to be down. One guy said, I'll drop $2,500 a month off your payment. Boom. All of a sudden, you start adding up these little pieces and parts. I told my wife also, I said, go through our credit card statement. And she found 15 different auto bills that she didn't even know what they were. $20 for this, $20 for that. Boom. That stuff adds up. $300-400 a month in a year. That's $5,000. And you don't even know what you're getting for it. So now is the time to cleanse financial misdeeds and mistakes and overpayments and renegotiate. And it's important. The other thing I say, overhaul your website. People are dealing with old technologies. They built a website 3 years ago. Maybe they don't have retargeting. I'm sure you guys know what that is, but many people out there that don't. If your website doesn't retarget, now is the time to get all of your digital things figured out because the world is moving in this direction. And guess what? You're not going out to events. So what's happening? It's becoming more of a digital world, and it's forcing a lot of companies to explore digital relationships. So if someone goes to your website and it's not optimized for mobile, they're going to bow out. Who are these folks? I don't want to do business with people that can't give me a good website experience, right? So, I mean, I'm looking at a few of my notes here, but, a lot of folks don't realize, go and assemble. We started looking at all the databases we had all over the place. We got 100,000 names here, 300,000 over here, 500,000 over there. Boom, boom, boom. Well, look, databases, these are valuable assets in a company. And so start understanding what assets do you have? Assemble them, communicate with people, start creating some content on a regular basis, right? Because what are you doing right now? We're creating content. I do this hours a day right now. Normally I'd be flying to Zurich or somewhere instead, but use the time to connect and make some new relationships, connect with people that you've wanted to. I've been hearing from people that I haven't heard from in some cases years lately. And you know why people are doing that? They're connecting back to me, and now we're starting new conversations. So we're starting new profit centers all around the place. So how many people are in maybe some of your databases that you could be connecting with and strike up that conversation again all over? The other thing is, I say, if you don't have a digital guru in your sphere of influence or on your team in some fashion, go get one. Because one thing that's blowing our minds right now is we're running some very, very low CP, cost per acquisition. We call it in our world customer acquisition cost. It's a CAC, a CAC. So I'll give you an example. We're running CAC on products that were $20 to acquire a customer that are now $10 because there's more people on TV. What are they doing? Watching CNN and Fox and all that kind of stuff. What are they doing on the internet? Looking at the news. So there's a lot more people at the places that we were advertising. So now might be a good time to explore some new customer acquisition techniques. So anyway, that's a long answer to your question, Steve, but I just wanted to share some of that.
Great
No,
answer.
we appreciate that, because that's one of the things that we've been telling people is right now, if you're not figuring out how to build your brand, how to monetize your business online, you're missing the boat. Because I honestly feel like working remotely, it's not a trend. It's here to stay, because now that a lot of companies have been forced to figure out how to work from home and to how to work remotely, now they're saying, wow, well, we can lower our overhead, and people are really starting to figure this thing out. So I love the tips that you gave in regards to that. And now what I want to do is, hold on one second.
While you do that, I want to just pick a comment on what Kevin said. First of all, Kevin, I agree with everything you said. I've been saying for the last few days, even myself, this has been like an adult timeout for everybody. Like we're all forced to sit down and really look at what we have our hands on, where things are in our lives. And it's allowed me actually to catch up on a lot of stuff that I had just been constantly trying to catch up on. And my beautiful 15-year-old daughter over here, like every single day, they've got activities. And so I found myself and Pasha, we are the parental Uber, right? We go everywhere, take them everywhere. And this has really allowed me to catch up on emails and catch up on conversations, catch up on past deal proposals and all kinds of stuff. And I just suggest to everybody listening, you've got to do that. And you've got to recognize, like Kevin said, that this is a digital world. Just imagine if this coronavirus had hit us 5-10 years ago, 10 years ago, where Wi-Fi wasn't as popular, internet wasn't as popular. I mean, people would be freaking out even more so than they are today. Thank God we have such a thing as Wi-Fi, because we can all still operate our businesses from our laptops. We can all practice social distancing with no problem. And if you do the right thing, people that have never considered at-home businesses, they're forced to get in to become, welcome to our club now. They're forced to do it.
Now is the time to be in the direct selling business. And I say, look for products that might be conducive. One of my companies, it had a 10X. It's a public company, so I can't say which one, but it did $1 million in one day on Amazon last week. And it up to then, it had never had more than $100,000 day before. So it 10X'd its biggest day ever. Just as you were saying, your sales are holding. This is one of our companies that's not just holding, but booming right now.
Right.
So, you know, so you need to be able to kind of turn and look for the right opportunities, and make those deals now.
Yeah, there's always a yin and a yang. I mean, no matter how bad something gets, there's always, like Pastor, you mentioned it on one of our calls when you were teaching some of the teams some things, that companies like Charmin, companies like Amazon, delivery companies. I mean, these companies are booming like never before.
And companies like ours, because we have,
there's always a balance.
Yeah, there's always a balance because we market the products that people need right now, which are products that help with your immune system, products that help you not get overweight during this time, because so many people are at home and they may not have the gym equipment. So they're trying to figure out, what do I do? Jumping jacks in the living room. Some people are afraid to go outside because we're not sure of, can we go for a jog right now? So, you know, they have those products, whatever they are, that are able to help people during these times. We're all seeing those spikes, and our message to people that are out there is, like you said, add that other stream that makes sense. Right now, if there are things that are working for other people, whether it's the Amazon business, whether it's the direct selling business, add that to your portfolio right now while you're at home, instead of what a lot of people are doing. They're just kind of going into their shell and watching Netflix. You know, we have a choice.
If you plant seeds during this time, when you come out of all of this, those seeds are going to be growing into trees. And I mean, I'm writing a book. I decided when all this was going down, hey, now is a good time, so that at the end of my book is going to be out the end of summer, and it's going to be timed perfectly for coming out of the coronavirus, hopefully. And it's going to be a good, heartfelt family message, entrepreneurial message also. So I'm spending the time now to put content together that'll be available at the right time, that will be powerful when it launches. And so making new connections, reestablishing old ones, attending a lot of events like this that are happening. This is the kind of stuff you need to do. You need to double down on your efforts to connect with people right now, because it's a good time to make new relationships also.
Absolutely.
I love that. Well, you also know we have a huge teen following and young adult following that watches us and follows us too. Now, my daughter, who's sitting right beside me, you know, we've done these kind of interviews a lot. She's never requested to be a part of one until now. So thank you for that.
Oh, that's great. Hey, that's cool.
So she's excited because she's a young influencer. She has her own ideas. She knows that you were the brains behind the Kim Kardashians, the 50 Cent, you know, helping them launch their brand.
That's why she's here, right?
So she was like, I want to talk to this gentleman. So she has a couple of questions for you. So I'm going to turn it over to our influencer daughter, Jayla.
All right. Hey.
Go ahead.
Do I read it?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Okay, well, I'm interested in launching a skincare line, so I just really wanted to know your advice on how to actually sit down and plan that out and actually start one.
So, I mean, I think the key thing in skincare, because I've been involved in skincare for 30 plus years, and it's very competitive, obviously. The biggest companies in the world, L'Oreal, which is, I think, a $10 billion company, they're huge. And then you've got, even in my world, Guthrie Ranker that was doing Proactive. They just sold that company for $2 billion, but they still have Cindy Crawford and Jane Seymour. So the first thing I say is, how are you going to position the product line, right? And what is the unique aspect of your skincare line? So it's funny, just yesterday I was reading that I think it's Kylie Jenner that is going to be launching a sanitizer product, right? And I thought, okay, that's cool. But if I were Kylie launching a sanitizer, I would create unique positioning with maybe some moisturizers that are in with the sanitizers so that it cleans. And because a lot of times your hands are dry and kind of, not very attractive. But if it was a sanitizing, healing kind of a product simultaneously, that would be smart business, because everyone is just selling sanitizers and they dry out. It's just alcohol. Your hands are dry, etc. So take it the next step. Add some extra ingredients. What are those ingredients? What is the unique positioning? And then how are you going to market it? Are you going to use influencers? Are you going to be demonstrating it yourself? What is your marketing plan? Because at the end of the day, creating the products is actually the easiest part, because you can go to a lot of manufacturers. And by the way, I have a very good private label manufacturer now. They've reached out to me recently and they said, Kevin, for many, many years, and we've done business with them, we would only take on companies that would do a minimum run of 10,000 pieces of a product. So let's say you're going to create an eye cream and they'd say, yeah, we'll make it for you, but you got to make 10,000 of them. So if it's going to cost you $5 to make them, you got to have 50 grand just to make a minimum run. But they said, we want to go to you, the entrepreneur, to help people start their own business. We're going to let people do minimum runs of 100 pieces. Okay. So now you can have your own skincare line for $500. Okay. 100 pieces, $5 a piece. Boom. Put a label on it and you're in business. Now, so I think the bottom line is that many people are thinking maybe the same thing, and celebrities, there's a lot of celebrities with their own skincare lines. So I would say, what is the first thing? What's the unique positioning? Do you have any kind of talent that you're going to bring in? And then the other thing is this: when you sell skincare, you need to kind of demonstrate it. You need to do demos. And are there any kind of magical transformations that you're going to be able to create with your skincare? And I think that's important, because whether it's instant wrinkle reduction, the product that I did with the Hiltons was called Sanake, and that spelled Synake. That's a synthetic snake venom. Okay, so that if you think of the spelling, SYN like synthetic, but AKE, synthetic snake. And so this relaxed your skin, and your wrinkles disappeared within 60 seconds. And so it was synthetic snake venom. People thought, wait, oh, you mean like Botox is a, kind of a, it's a poison that releases something that relaxes your skin, right? And your wrinkles go away. Well, this was synthetic snake venom. It was huge. We did big numbers. We had what I call magical transformations live on Home Shopping Network, both in the US, then we took her to England. We took them to Harrods, big store over in London. So we had a unique product, unique positioning, very powerful demos, and magical transformations. All of that combined, mix it up in a little bundle, and it was powerful. We did tens of millions of dollars in sales. So I can get you manufacturing, and I can help with all that stuff. But the bottom line is, those are some of the things to be thinking about as you're looking for your own skincare line.
I love that. Any other questions?
No, I'm going to write this down.
She said, I'm going to write this down. Wow. I love writing some stuff down. I love it. Okay. So listen, guys, for those of you that are watching, Kevin is giving away a free gift. You can go right here where it's on the screen, the website, for you to be able to get a free gift from Kevin. And it's a free blueprint to how to pitch your product. So for those of you that may have a product idea, you're trying to figure out how to do it, hey, this is the guy who does that. So I always say, stay in your lane. That's what I've learned. I've learned to stay in my lane. When somebody wants to learn how to make money from home, hey, come to us. When someone wants to learn how to take a product and get it around the world and all of that, you got to find the right person who's able to do that. And so I would like to close out with Kevin, because I know that we have a hard stop, and I want to give you time to be able to get on your next
Cool.
call.
Thank you.
I want to see if there, guys, for those of you that are commenting, now's the time to let your questions pop up, because I will take a few questions. I know I saw a few come through, but if you can start your questions now, I will see if I can have Kevin answer your question live on air. So drop your questions. But also, before we wrap up, for those that are listening to us, Kevin, last piece of advice. You know, I'm getting a lot of phone calls, and honestly, people are panicking and they are kind of trying to really figure this thing out. So right now from you, that last little piece of
Yeah.
advice that you can give to just give them hope and
Yeah.
and get them in that right direction.
So I think this is how I look at it. The coronavirus is what has devastated all of us. We're all at home, and you got to understand how it works. It's a bell-shaped curve. People start getting infected. People are dying, but it reaches a peak. This is the top of the curve. And so this is why they keep talking about flattening the curve,
Right.
and staying at home, and that'll end this sooner. So the bottom line is, in about 3 weeks, when everyone that I'm hearing from and talking to says we're going to be at the top of that curve, and then we're going to be on the backside of the curve, meaning we've hit the worst, and now it's now coming to where it's going to be much better. And so we've already, I've been hunkering down for about 2 or 3 weeks now. I'm going to continue to hunker down. I'm going to continue to connect with people, but don't lose hope. There will be an end to this, and stay safe, stay healthy, stay alive is the most important thing right now. And that's why you don't want to be going out, hanging out all over the place. I mean, from our side, when I tell my wife I may have to go do something outside, she's like, "Oh my God, I don't, how do I know that you're being safe?" Right? So,
Right.
I mean, it's important to practice that. Stay home, be with just your family. You're all safe together. But in a few weeks, we're gonna be at the top of this thing, and then we're going to be on the backside. And so I follow the stock market so closely every single day. It was plummeting. It finally reached a leveling off, and then it started rebounding a little bit. So the financial markets are not seeing this as an end to business or an end to society. We are going to come out of this stronger than ever. And when we do, I believe it's the folks that have been planting all those seeds, connecting with people. And you know what people are looking for? They're looking for help. They're looking for guidance. They're looking for someone that they can talk to. So be that person for them. Don't be the one that's freaking out, because it's the people freaking out that are going to have a tougher time when it's all said and done. So I say to myself, I know what happened. The Gulf War, it was going, we got to the point where the tip of the iceberg was the worst. And then when it started coming back, people came on television and they were watching. And then they started buying more than they were buying before the Gulf War. So I believe that there will be a surge after, as they call it, a pent-up demand. And so for those that are in the direct selling business, this is a really good opportunity to show people how to use products and also make some money along the way. So just try to have a little bit of calmness about things. The world is not coming to an end. We're going to survive. We're going to come out of this strong. And that's what I say. But now is the time to be planting the seeds for the future. And that's why I say, if you don't have a business, extra income business, you need to be starting one. And I know you guys are really good with helping people. As it says right on the screen, want to make money from your home? What a great thing to be doing, is showing people how to make money from their home. This whole problem that we're having right now, I think, is going to help the direct selling business at the end of the day, because there are going to be more people looking to make money from their home than ever before.
Amen.
Yes. Well, thank you
Amen.
so much, Kevin. And let me tell you, it's always a pleasure. I love your advice. I'm absolutely so happy that you're a friend. I'm absolutely excited about all of the things for you. So just really quickly, and I know we're in it, what's next for you? What's next for Kevin Harrington? That's one of the questions.
Well, so this, I've got my life's in kind of three pods. Number one, I still have products. I've got about a dozen products in Walgreens and Walmart and Target and all over the stores, Home Shopping Network, QVC. So my product business is holding up. I have a speaking business that I do, dozens. Last year I did about 80 events around the world. That's taken a little bit of a hit, but a lot of these events are being rebooked. So last weekend I was supposed to be in Toronto. Kevin Hart and I had 2,500 tickets sold to a big event that we were doing in Toronto. That got rescheduled to November. So things are getting rescheduled in my speaking world. And then my other business is my investments of the 25 companies that I'm involved with, and my stocks and my public companies. Some of those are hurting a little. Some are going crazy. That's going to level off. But all of that is going to continue after coronavirus. And then my new book called Mentor to Millions is coming out at the end of the summer. And so maybe we'll reconnect and talk about my book when it's coming out again, because that's going to be my messaging is you need a mentor. If you don't have one, go get one. And you guys are great mentors to be able to provide help to a lot of people. And if there's anyone out there that's looking for somebody like me, happy to talk to them to see if I can help too. So thanks for having me today. It's been a pleasure to be here. And you guys stay healthy. And thanks for
everyone. Listen,
great meeting your daughter. Jayla, keep up the hard work, okay?
Thank you.
All right, you too. See you guys.
All
Take
right.
care.
All right.
Bye-bye. Thanks.
So listen, everybody. Bye-bye, Kevin. If you want to get in touch with Kevin, go to free.kevinpish.com/free blueprint is right up there on the screen for you. You guys take advantage of that. And for those of you that are out there and you're saying to yourself, hey, now's the time for me to start making some money from home, get in touch with us. Reach out to us. We'll show you, teach you, train you an effective way to be able to write behind your laptop, right with your phone, to be able to start making some money right now while you're at home. Like Kevin said, there are many of us right now, we're not waiting and shutting down during this time. We're turning up during this time because we know that we're going to come out of this. And how you come out of this all depends on the seeds that you start planting today. Any final words, Steve?
No, I know you had your email address up there, but I would verbally give it to everybody. If you want to get in touch with us and you're looking for a way to generate some income from home, email Pasha immediately. Pasha Carter at mac.com. Pasha, Pasha, Carter at Mac, like the computer, MAC.com. And get in touch with us. We'd love to share with you what we're doing, and hopefully it can be a blessing to you and your family.
Okay, everyone. Listen, everybody have a blessed day. This has been the VIP Talk Show with none other than our special guest today, Mr. Kevin Harrington, the original shark from the Shark Tank. So, guys, listen, it's been a pleasure. We hope you got a lot out of today's Facebook Live. We will be repurposing this. Share this with a friend. Share this with another entrepreneur, you guys. God bless, and let's go make it happen. Have a blessed day, everybody.